الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Okay, so last week some homework was set. So before we go through that, I'm going to do a quick overview of what we covered last week. So last week is the first time we started looking at sentences, and what we said was there were three concepts we had to be familiar with, and that is, in Arabic we may have a word, and I'll give you an example of that. So a book, kitab. Okay, so you may have a word, or you may have a compound. For example, Book of Muhammad, or fragment I should say. Okay, or you may have a sentence. So that would be Kitabu Jadidun. Okay. So the top one is, if you look at the word kitabun, so obviously these concepts are related to Arabic. So we look at the Arabic example. The top one says kitabun. That's just one word on its own. This is known as a word, which is what your course booklet is referring to over here. Word, fragment, or sentence. So kitabun in Arabic, it is an example of a word. Or you may have a fragment. What is a fragment? A fragment is when there's two words or more put together, but it doesn't have a complete meaning. It doesn't make sense. For example, Kitabu Muhammadin, the book of Muhammad. But what does that mean? What are you trying to say about the book of Muhammad? I'm still waiting for you to say something more in order to complete the meaning. The book of Muhammad is new, for example, or the book of Muhammad is old. Then that would be a complete meaning. So Kitabu Muhammadin is an example of a fragment, which is that there's two or more words together. So there's two words here, Kitabu Muhammadin, but they doesn't make sense. Or you may have a sentence, which is two or more words put together, but it makes sense, hence the term sentence. And that an example of that is Al-Kitabu Jadidun, the book is new. That's complete. So I'm not waiting for you to say anything more. You've told me what you need to say, and I understand what you're trying to tell me. So that is an example of a sentence. So going back, you may have a word on its own, or you may have two words that are put together, and it doesn't make sense. Then you call that a fragment. Or you may have two or more words put together, and it doesn't make sense, and that's called a fragment. Or you may have two or more words put together that make sense, and that's called a sentence. And that's what this lesson was dealing with, which is sentences. Fragments we're going to be doing later. We said in Arabic, in order to make a simple sentence, we use two nouns. That's the very basic that you need to do. You just put two nouns together. One is something that you're talking about. The other one, you're saying something about it. And that is your sentence. Like, the book is new. So you just put two nouns together in Arabic, Al-Kitabu Jadidun, as you can see in that example. You put them together, and that makes a sentence. But there are some extra stuff that you have to keep in mind, which is that one of them you make definite. The first one you will make definite, and the second one you will make indefinite. And that's where the hidden is comes in. So the rule here is the word is usually found between a definite and an indefinite word. Usually it says, not always, but this is the rule we're going to be sticking with now to help us understand things going forward. So you have a definite word followed by an indefinite word. There's going to be a hidden is between it. What do we mean by hidden is? So in English, the book is new, right? So you have the is there. In Arabic, you have the book, Al-Kitabu, the book, which is that word, the book, and then you have Jadidun, which is new. What about is? That's not present in Arabic. So the is over here, hidden. And how do I figure that out? The book is definite, and jadidun is indefinite. So when you have a definite followed by indefinite, there's usually a hidden is in between. So that's why I translated it that way. I didn't say the new book or the book new. I said the book is new for following that rule, which is the word is usually found between a definite and an indefinite word. So al-kitabu is definite, jadidun is indefinite. Al-kitabu means the book, jadidun means new. So I can put a hidden is in between, definite followed by indefinite, there's a hidden is in between. So the book is new is how I translate that. So one way you might know that a noun is definite is the alif lam in front of it. So if you look at the lesson on type that we did, there's 7 categories in there. For now, we're looking at 2 of them. One of them is it has an alif lam in front of it. The other is a pronoun, a detached pronoun. So an example of that, a detached pronoun would be a sentence which has a detached pronoun would be he is a Muslim. The way I say that in Arabic is huwa, and huwa is a detached pronoun. So if you look at the detached pronoun table, you'll find huwa in there. Huwa muslimun. Okay, he is a Muslim. So here I can say the same thing. Huwa is definite, Muslimun is indefinite. So huwa is a detached pronoun, that's why it's definite. Pronouns are definite. That's one of the 7 categories. And Muslimun is indefinite, so I know there's a hidden is in between there. He is a Muslim. That's what that means. Another thing it said is you have a part before is and you have a part after is. So in Arabic, you're going to have these 2 parts. Al-Kitabu is the part before is, which means the book, and Jadidun is the part after is, which means new. There's a rule you have to bear in mind. You have to make them agree in number and gender. Number means singular, dual, or plural, which means if the first part is singular, which is Al-Kitabu, the second part must also be singular. If the first part is dual, the second part must also be dual. For example, if I said the 2 books are new, I would say al-kitabani, al-kitabani. That's how you say the 2 books. I wouldn't say jadidun. I would say jadidani. Al-kitabani, jadidani. So let me write that for you, just to give you an example. Al-kitabani, jadidani. So the part before and after is have to agree in number and gender. So this is me making it agree in number and gender. Al-Kitabani means the 2 books. I have to make that Jadidun also has to be dual as well. They have to agree in number and gender. So Al-Kitabani, Jadidani. That means the 2 books are new. It would be wrong for me to say Al-Kitabani, Jadidun. Why? Because Al-Kitabani is the part before is. Jadidun is the part after is. And they don't agree in number. They agree in gender. Al-Kitabani is masculine, Jadidun is masculine, but they don't agree in number. Al-Kitabani is dual, but Jadidun is singular. That's the reason I have to say Jadidani. It has to agree in number and gender. Likewise, if it was plural, then I have to make that plural as well. Same thing. So if it's the first part is singular, the second part must be singular. If the first part is dual, the second part must be dual. If the first part is plural, the second part has to be plural as well. And an example of that would be Al-Muslimuna Jududun. Al-Muslimuna, the Muslims are new. Al-Muslimuna Jududun, the Muslims are new. Now in this one, the first part, which is al-Muslimuna, is plural. In particular, it's a sound masculine plural. But all you have to worry about is making it agree in number. So this is plural. The plural of Jadidun is Jududun. That's why I use that. I don't say al-Muslimuna Jadidun. I don't say al-Muslimuna Jadidani. I don't use the singular or the dual at all. I use the plural. because al-Muslimuna is plural. It has to agree. And it's the same for gender as well. Al-Muslimuna is masculine. Jurudun is also masculine as well. And it agrees with that. Let's do an example of a feminine one. So if I say al mus if I want to say the female Muslim is new, so al muslimatu, I say jadidatun. That's how I say that. So I have to make jadidun feminine as well. Al muslimatu is singular and it's feminine. So I have to make jadidatun singular, which it is, and I also have to make it feminine. How did I do that? So from jadidun, I told you very early on, the way we make nouns feminine is we add a ta marbuta to the end and we add a fatha before it. So we remove the last vowel, put a fatha there, and then put a ta marbuta after it. That's how you make nouns feminine. Like muslimun became muslimatun, and the same with jadidun become jadidatun. And if I want to say the two female Muslims are new, I say al muslimatani jadidatani. So looking at that, al muslimatani is feminine and it's dual. Feminine and dual. So number and gender is what you look at to make them agree. And jadidatani is also feminine and dual as well. Notice, if I said jadidani, that would also be wrong. They both are dual, but al-muslimatani is feminine, jadidani is masculine. So that's the reason that would be wrong. That's why I'm saying jadidatani.
Do you know that first example that you gave, al-muslimuna, so would it be al-muslimuna jadiduna?
Okay, perfect. So the reason we're not saying jadiduna is because we already know from memory that the plural of jadidun is jududun. So we're not making them agree in type of plural. We're just making them agree in number. So this is a bit of just memory. So if the plural of jadidun was jadiduna, which it isn't, the plural of jadidun is jududun.
Okay.
Then you would use jadiduna.
That's
but it's
broken.
not. The plural of jadidun is actually jududun. So jadidun has a broken plural.
Okay.
It doesn't have a sound plural.
Yeah. But then when you're doing it for the female, it's you're doing it as a sound plural.
Okay. So it's the same again. Jududun. And this is just memory. You just have to memorize. Like the plural of jadidun is jududun. And that is used for both the masculine and feminine.
Right. So in that example that you just given now, for the female.
Yeah. So I would say al-muslimatu jududun. That's how I would say that.
And for the dual?
So and for the dual, it would be al-muslimatani jadidatani.
Okay, so that's what I don't understand. Why does that change to jadidatani for the female, but for the male it remains as jadidun?
For the male, it would be.
Okay, for the dual it changes, but not for the plural. Okay, yeah. Fine.
Yeah. So for the male, it would be al muslimani yeah, exactly. Jadidani.
That's fine.
So the question you ask yourself is number and gender. You look at the first one, it's masculine. So second one, this is masculine. So the second part must also be masculine. That's why I said jadid and not jadida. Jadida. And you also look at the first one in number. The first one is dual. The second one must also be dual as well. So that's what I'm doing. And yeah, that's the same with that one. The first one is feminine. I'll make the second one feminine as well. And the first one is dual as well. And I'll make the second one dual as well. So if it makes it easier, think of it this way. What's the number? What's the gender? First one is masculine jewel. So I'll use the second one, masculine jewel as well. And the first one, feminine jewel, and I'll make that feminine jewel as well. Likewise, this one, feminine plural. I'll make the second one feminine plural as well. And this jududun is the plural of jadidun, whether it's the masculine or the feminine. So it's the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, perfect. So that's our summary done. We'll move on to the homework. Now, if there's anything that anybody struggles with as I'm going through this or doesn't understand how I got what I got, then please, interrupt and let me know, because this is the first time we're going into sentence. So it's okay if you're lost or you don't really get certain things. So it's important that we polish this up and we make sure everybody's on the same page as we go along with this. So this is simple sentences. Now, there's a few things that should be going on in your mind as you go through this. Number one is the rule, a definite followed by indefinite. There's going to be a hidden is in between. Also, you should notice that the two parts, they agree in number and gender as well. Those are the two things that was supposed to be constantly exercised as you were going through with that. So what you had to do was you had to read the Arabic and then you had to translate that into English. So number one is Al-Kitabu Jadidun. Al-Kitabu means the book. So Alif Lam tells you it's definite. That means the book and not a book. Al-Kitabu Jadidun. Also notice how when you have Alif Lam there, there's no tanween. It's not Al-Kitabun, it's Al-Kitabu. Jadidun, this is definite followed by indefinite. You know there's a hidden is in between there. The book is new. Jadidun means new. Wal qalamu, wa means and. The book is new and wal qalamu qadimun. And the pen, that's what al qalamu means, the pen. Qadimun, again, definite followed by indefinite. There's a hidden is in between there. And the pen is old. Qadimun means old. So the book is new and the pen is old. That's number one. Number two is al-qalamu maksurun. Al-qalamu maksurun. Al-qalamu means the pen. Maksurun means broken. This is definite. That's indefinite. There's a hidden is in between those two. The pen is broken. The pen is broken. Also notice if you look at number one, al-kitabu is masculine singular. So number and gender. Singular masculine. Jadidun is singular masculine as well, he agrees with that. And al-qalamu is masculine singular. Qadimun is also masculine singular as well, he agrees with that. Al-qalamu here is masculine singular and maksurun is also masculine singular. So they are agreeing in those number and gender. Now if you look at number three. So that's number three. Al-madrasatu kabiratun, not kabirun. Al-madrasatu kabiratun wal masjidu sagirun. So let's translate it first and I'll talk through the grammar. So al-madrasatu means the school. Madrasatun, a school. Al-madrasatu, the school. Kabiratun means kabirun. This is the feminine of kabirun. Kabirun is masculine. Kabiratun is feminine. And it means big. So this is definite, al-madrasatu, followed by an indefinite. So there's a hidden is in between. So you can translate that as the school is big. And that's what I've got in there. Wal masjidu sagirun, and the mosque is small. So al masjidu, the mosque, sagirun is indefinite, definite followed by indefinite. There's a hidden is in between those two, and the mosque is small. Okay, so let's go through the grammar now. Al madrasatu, number and gender. So the number is it's singular, it means one school. Gender is it's feminine. How do I know that? There's a ta marbuta there and there. So ta marbuta at the end of a noun is a sign that is feminine. So going back to the lesson on gender, ta marbuta is one of the signs. So what do I do to kabirun? I have to make the agree as well. So it's singular and it's feminine. So kabiratun must also be singular. The word big must also be singular and feminine. And that's what I've done there. I've said kabiratun. So that's singular and that's feminine. The jewel is kabiratani. I didn't use the jewel. The masculine jewel is kabirani. I didn't use that either. And the plural is kibaron. Kibaron. I didn't use the plural. And kibaron is for both masculine and feminine as well. Like judurun was for both masculine and feminine. So I didn't use any of those. I used kabiratun specifically because it has to agree with al-madrasa to the first part in number and in gender. Al-madrasa too is singular and it's feminine. So kabiratun must be singular and feminine as well. And that's why I chose kabiratun specifically. Wal masjidu. Now look at the second part. Al masjidu sagirun. Al masjidu is masculine, singular. Sagirun is masculine, singular. I didn't say sagiratun. I didn't say sagirani. I didn't say sagiratani. I didn't say sigarun, which is the plural. I used the singular and I used the masculine form as well. It has to agree in number and gender. Number 4. Hum tullabun. And the translation is they are students. Now hum, we know that it's a detached pronoun, as we have done that in the previous lesson. We've memorized it, and we've memorized that hum is the third person pronoun referring to 3 or more males. So it's masculine, it's plural, and it's third person. So it means they. Tullabun is the plural of talibun. Talibun is a male student. Tullabun is 3 or more male students. Talibani is 2 male students. So that's the dual. Tullabun is the plural. 3 or more male students. So hum tullabun means they are students. Now you'll be asking why I didn't say they is the students. Like we were saying, they is students. Hidden is. So obviously when we're translating it in English, we have to make sure it makes sense. We don't say they is students in English. So in English, we say they are students. And are is the plural of is in English. So when we're translating, we have to bear those things in mind as well. So basically, the thing to take away is hum is definite because it's a detached pronoun. It's one of the 7 types of definite nouns. And tullabun is indefinite. So there must be a hidden is in between. Hum is masculine and it's plural. So let me go to your detached pronoun table there. Hum is over here. It's masculine and it's plural. That's where hum is. And it means they. So hum tullabun. They is students. That doesn't make sense. They are students. Okay, so we translate it accordingly. Hum is masculine plural, and I have to make tullabun also masculine plural as well. Tullabun is masculine plural as well. That is, I don't say hum talibani. I don't say hum talibun. I don't say hum talibatun. I don't say hum talibatani. I don't say hum talibatun. I say tullabun specifically. Has to agree with hum in number and gender. Number 5. Huwa maridun wa hiya tabibatun. Huwa maridun. Maridun means patient or ill. Patient as in the patient of a doctor, not patient as in somebody who bears patients. So maridun means ill, sick, or patient. Huwa maridun, he is a patient or he is ill. Wa means and you see wa so many times in the Quran. Wa means and. Hiya tabibatun. Hiya means she. Hiya is the third person, singular, feminine.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Can I just ask something there? You said about the word for patient. It could mean sick or patient. When we're translating, do you want us to show all the different meanings, or is one sufficient?
Okay, so one would be sufficient, but bearing in mind, if you do further reading, then you'll have to know the multiple meanings of certain words. But when you're doing the homework, you can pick one, whichever you prefer, or whichever makes more sense for you.
Okay.
That's
okay,
fine.
thank you.
Thank you. So, huwa maridun wa hiya tabibatun. He is a patient or he is sick, and she is a doctor. So here is the feminine version of that. Here is the feminine version of huwa, which is singular, feminine, third person, which means she. She is. Tabibun is the male doctor, and Tabibatun is the female doctor. So that also has to agree with here in number and gender. So if you look at huwa is masculine and it's singular. So I use maridun, which is the masculine singular as well. I didn't say maridatun. I didn't say maridani. I didn't say maridatani. I didn't say marda. Marda is a plural of maridun. And the same with here tabibatun. I use the singular and feminine. Here is singular and it's feminine. So I use tabibatun, which is singular feminine as well. It wouldn't make sense to say here tabibun. Tabibun is a male doctor. So I use tabibatun, which is a female doctor. Somebody's got their mic on, so whoever it is, if they could mute their mics, please. Thank you. Number 6 is al-mudarisani jadidani. Al-mudarisani means the two male teachers. Mudarisun is one teacher. So if I can break that down for you. Mudarisun is one male teacher, and the word we have in front of us is mudarisani. Okay, mudarisani. So the two male teachers. Excuse me 1 second. So that means al-mudarisani, the two male teachers, and I want to say the two male teachers are new. So if you look at the number, it's dual. Al-mudarisani is dual, which means two male teachers. And as for gender, it's mudarisani and not mudarisa tani. So this is masculine as well. So when I use the word jadidun, I have to make that masculine and I have to make it dual in agreement with al-mudarisani. So I say jadidani and not jadidatani or jududun. So jadidani. Al-mudarisani jadidani, that means the two male teachers are new. The two teachers are new. So main thing to take away is this is a definite followed by an indefinite. There's a hidden is in between and the agreement between the first part and the second part in number and gender. Okay. So number 7 is al-qamisu nadhifun wal mindilu wasikhun. Al-qamisu means the shirt. Nadhifun means clean. The shirt is clean. Wal mindilu and the kerchief wasikhun is dirty. So I'm going to skim over these now. I've been through them in detail. Ana fakirun wa anta ghaniyun. So ana means I. It's a detached pronoun referring to the first person. Ana fakirun. I am poor. Again, there's a hidden is, but we don't say I is poor. We say I am poor in English. So we have to bear those things in mind when we're translating over as well. Wa anta and you, anta ghaniyun. So anta is the second person pronoun, the singular masculine second person pronoun. So it means you, referring to one male. And you, ghaniyun, you are rich. Now bear in mind, this is also agreeing in gender as well. Anta is masculine, it's singular. Again, this should have been memorized by now. So this is over here. Anta, masculine, second person, singular, which means you. And well, as you say these pronouns, so those of you who I haven't listened to yet recite this table, I'll try and fit in time today to listen to you. But the point to get across is, as you're doing this table, you need to have a mental picture in your head as you say these pronouns. What do I mean by that? So when you're saying huwa, you need to understand that you're talking to somebody, and huwa is referring to somebody outside of the conversation, he. And what you imagine is one male outside of the conversation. So you can use your fingers huwa and point with one finger, one male outside of the conversation. And huma is also third person outside of the conversation, but there's two males outside of the conversation. So you think that in your head when you're saying that. Huwa is one male, huma is two males, hum is three or more males outside of the conversation. And same with here, you're imagining one female outside of the conversation, she. Huma, they, two females outside of the conversation. Hunna, three or more, they, three or more males outside, females outside of the conversation. Sorry. When it comes to anta, you're thinking of you. Anta, you're talking to the person directly. You. So one male. Antuma, two males. Antum, three or more males. Anti, one female. You. Antuma, you two. You two female. Antunna, you three or more female in the conversation. Ana, I, myself. Nahnu, we. And it's the same for the attached pronoun as well. They are just substitutes of the same detached pronoun. The meaning is the same. So when you say who, you imagine one male outside of the composition as you did with huwa. And when you say huma, you imagine the same thing as huma. When you say home, you imagine the same thing as home. When you say ha, you imagine the same thing as here. So these are substitutes of that. The difference is the detached is rough. When you need a rough noun, you will use the detached pronoun. When you need a nasb jar noun, you will use the attached version of that, and that will come later. The details of that will come later. For now, you need to understand, you need to be able to say the pronoun very quickly, very fluently, and you need to understand what it means as well. You need to have that mental picture in your head. Is this outside the conversation? How many males is it? How many females is it? Or is it inside the conversation? Or is it referring to myself? Or is it referring to us? So you need to be familiar with those things. Yeah, back to the book. So ana fakirun, I am poor. Wa anta, so anta is one male. You are ghaniyun, rich. Had I said anti and I was talking to a female, I would have said anti ghani. Yeah, don't. I would have made that feminine. Anti ghaniyatun. I wouldn't say ghaniyun. Sorry, there's a. Let me just edit that. Ghaniyatun. Ghaniyatun. So anta ghaniyun. So anta is masculine, singular masculine. So that ghaniyun, the second part agrees with that in number and gender as well. But if I said anti, it would be ghaniyatun. So anti is singular feminine this time, not singular masculine, singular feminine. I would say ghaniyatun. I would make that singular feminine as well. So the agreement is something to keep in mind as you read through this. Number 9 is al-waladu jalisun. Al-waladu, the boy, jalisun, sitting. The boy is sitting. Wal-mudarisu, and the teacher, waqifun, standing. So, and the teacher is standing. Number 10, al-baytu, the house, qaribun, is near. Wad-dukkanu, wa, and ad-dukkanu, the shop, wad-dukkanu, and the shop, ba'idun, far. And the shop is far. So the purpose of this was knowing where to place the hidden is, and also noticing the agreement in the number and gender of the two parts, before the is and after the is. And by the way, all of these are sentences. They are not fragments and they are not words. So al-kitabu jadidun is two words that came together and it made sense. The book is new. So these are sentences and not fragments. Fragments are two words that come together but they don't make sense and they're going to come later. The second part was doing the reverse. So this time it was English to Arabic. And I said that this is not a writing course. So if you know how to write in Arabic, then I would have expected you to, it would have been better for you to write it in Arabic as you see it here. But if you don't know Arabic, I said you could have transliterated things. That was fine by me. So like number 1, it says al-masjidu maftuhun is the answer. So if you did this, because you didn't know how to write Arabic, that would be fine. So al-masjidu, for example. So I was okay with you doing that, transliterating it in English. So number 1, the masjid is open. In Arabic, so the masjid. So this is the. So we use al-masjidu because alif lam makes it definite. Al-masjidu, we don't say al-masjidun. that would be wrong. We can't have alif, lam and tanween together as we discussed previously in the lesson on type. So al-masjidu. Now the second part, if I want to have a hidden is, I need to make the second part indefinite. So I say maftuhun, not al-maftuhu, maftuhun. Also, what I have to do is al-masjidu is singular and it's masculine. I need to make maftuhun singular and masculine as well. So I say maftuhun, not maftuhani, not maftuhuna, not maftuhatun, not maftuhatani, not maftuhatun either. So I have to make sure they agree in number and gender. That's number one. Al-masjidu maftuhun, or if you were transliterating, it would be like this. Al-masjidu maftuhun. Like that. That would be fine as well if you didn't know how to write in Arabic. The main thing I want you to bear in mind is the endings. So I don't want you writing al-masjid, for example, and missing out on the ending. Default is you keep everything in the rough, unless you have a reason to make a nasb or jar, and we haven't discussed those reasons yet. So for now, as far as you're concerned, every noun is rough. You make everything rough. You don't say al-masjida, don't make a nasb. You don't say al-masjidi, don't make a jar. So assume everything is going to be rough for now. And later when I discuss certain things, I will say this noun will be a nasb and this noun will be jar because of so and so reasons. But for now, we haven't done those things yet. So everything you assume is going to be rough by default, which it is in Arabic. Every noun is rough by default, unless you have a reason to make it nasb or jar. And we will learn those reasons later. So we say al-masjidu and we say maftuhun. We don't say al-masjida and we don't say maftuhan. We don't say al-masjidi and we don't say maftuhin. We don't make it nasb or jar. We just make it rough by default. Number two, the key is old. That would be al-miftahu qadimun. Al-miftahu qadimun. So the key, we say al-miftahu. And we use alif lam to make it definite. Qadimun is old. Number three, the milk al-labanu. So labanun means milk and the milk is al-labanu, cold, baridun. So if I want to put a hidden is in there, I make the second part indefinite. So I don't say al-labanu al-baridun. I say al-labanu baridun. So definite followed by indefinite gives me a hidden is in between. That's how I do it in Arabic. And wa. The water, wal ma'u, and the water is hot. Harun. Wa wal ma'u harun. So as you're doing this, you just have to keep an eye on the number and the gender of the first part, matching the number and the number and the gender of the second part, matching the number and the gender of the first part. So like you've got al-labanu, the milk. The milk is masculine and it's singular. So baridun has to be masculine singular. Same with al-ma'u is masculine singular. Harun must be masculine singular as well. Number four, she is a student and he is a teacher. So the way I say that in Arabic is hiya. Hiya is the pronoun for the third person feminine singular. That's she. Hiya. Now that's feminine and that's singular. Now when I say student in Arabic, I need to make that feminine singular as well. And the word for that is talibatun. Not talibun, not talibani, not tullabun. Tullabun is a plural. Not talibun, not talibani, not tullabun, not talibatani, not talibatun either. Talibatun. That's feminine and that's singular. And that's what I need. Wa huwa mudarisun. And he is a teacher. So again, huwa is he. And teacher, the second part must agree with huwa. So huwa is masculine and it's singular. So I need a teacher to be masculine and singular as well. Mudarisun is masculine and it's singular. So I didn't use mudarisani. That would be dual. That would be masculine dual. I didn't use mudarisuna. That would be masculine plural. I didn't use mudarisatun. That would be feminine singular. I didn't use mudarisatani. That would be feminine dual. I didn't use mudarisatun. That would be feminine plural. I need masculine singular, which is mudarisun. Number 5, al-imamu jalisun. That means the imam is sitting. Number 6, all of you are believers. So all of you here is an indication that you should have used the plural. Both of you would have been dual. So I wanted you to use the plural here. So you, the table goes anta, antuma, antum. So the one I want is the plural, antum. Plural, or you could have said antunna. I didn't indicate which gender you should have used. So antum or antunna would have been fine. If you said antum, then what should have followed, because antum is masculine and it's plural. What should have followed would should have been masculine and plural as well. So mu'minun should have been masculine and plural. It would be mu'minuna, mu'minuna, antum mu'minuna. However, if you used antunna, so you could have said antum mu'minuna, or you could have said antunna mu'minatun. Antunna mu'minatun. So you could have said antum mu'minuna, or you could have said antunna mu'minatun. So antunna is feminine this time, and it's plural. So again, you need to be very familiar with your detached pronoun table. Antunna is feminine and plural. So mu'min has to be feminine and plural, and that would be mu'minatun. Not mu'minatani, not mu'minatun, not mu'minun, not mu'minani, not mu'minuna, mu'minatun. Number 7, both of them, now this is third person, them, both of them are small. So again, I didn't indicate which gender you should have used. You could have made it masculine or feminine. The thing with this, the dual, is if you look at the masculine, it's huma, they too, them too, huma, and also feminine is huma as well. It's the same for both the masculine and feminine. So you could have said, and the answer for this would have been huma sagirani or huma sagiratani. So if you were saying both of them and you're imagining two males, you're referring to two males, you would say sagirani, because huma in that case would be masculine and it would be dual. So you need sagir to be masculine and dual, which is sagirani. But if you were thinking about two females, both of them are small, then you would say huma sagiratani, because in that case huma would be feminine and it would be dual. So you need sagiratani to be feminine and dual, which is. Okay. Number 8, it is a pen. It is a pen. Now that is a pronoun. In the table we have he, but if you think of the pronoun as an idea, what is the idea behind it? A pronoun in English, or even in Arabic as well, is a noun used to refer, as I've said before, it's used to refer to something without mentioning what the thing is. So if I say, I bought the pen, it is red and it is expensive. Now I didn't say I bought the pen is red, the pen is expensive. I used pronouns, I said it is red, it is expensive. So what is a pronoun? It refers to a noun without mentioning what the noun is. So if I mention the noun, I would say the pen is red, the pen is expensive. That's what a pronoun is. So this is what this is here. It is a pen. So it in English is a pronoun. So what is a pronoun in Arabic that I need to use? So this is the pronoun table that we've been discussing. So it's huwa, huma, hum, one of those ones. But a pen. In Arabic, a word for pen is qalamun. Pen is qalamun. It's masculine and it's singular. So I use the huwa, which is the masculine and the singular form. Okay, I hope that made sense to everybody. Number 9, the sugar is sweet. So sukkarun is sugar. The sugar, as-sukkaru, put alif lam in front. Don't worry about the reading. Sometimes I'm saying al, sometimes I'm reading the lam, sometimes I'm not reading the lam. For now, don't worry about that. This is, to do with solar letters or lunar letters, and we will do that later on when we start reading sentences, and I'll teach you how to read these things as well. So for now, just main thing is you need to have an alif lam in front of it because it means the and not ah. Okay. Hulwun is sweet. Hulwun means sweet, and that's part of your vocab. That should have been memorized. Number 10, the shop is open. Ad-dukkanu maftuhun. Ad-dukkanu maftuhun. Okay. And this exercise was you're supposed to spot the mistakes and you're supposed to correct them. Number 1, huwa sayyaratun. Now there's a mistake here. The mistake is sayyaratun is feminine, but huwa is masculine. You're trying to say it is a car, but the two parts must agree in number and gender. When you have a sentence, the two parts must agree in number and gender. So huwa is masculine, but sayyaratun is feminine. So the correct answer would be hiya sayyaratun. That's how you say it is a car in Arabic. So huwa was the mistake in that one. I changed huwa to hiya. Hiya is feminine. So sayyaratun is feminine singular. Hiya is feminine singular. Now that's correct. But sayyaratun is feminine singular. Huwa is masculine singular. You don't agree. So I need to make them both feminine and singular. Number 2. Al-babu maftuhan. The mistake there is maftuhan. The maftuhan is in the nasb status. By default, everything needs to be in the raf, unless you have a reason to make it nasb or jar. So the correct answer is al-babu maftuhun, which is raf. So the mistake was the maftuhan, which changed to maftuhun. That's the correct answer. Everything by default is raf, unless you have a reason, and we haven't done those reasons yet. Number 3, Baitil Jadidu. So we're trying to say the house is new. The way I do that is the first part must be definite, the second part must be indefinite, and both parts must be raf. Al-Baitu Jadidun is the answer. If anybody didn't get that, that's a bit more difficult. Just unmute your mics and let me know. So if you're looking at the rule is if you want a hidden is in between, first part must be definite, second part must be indefinite. Also, both of them need to be kept in the raf status by default, and they need to agree in the number and the gender as well. Okay, so al-baytu is definite, jadidun is indefinite.
Ustadh is probably the jadidun, you know, because it's got al-jadidun. I think that may confuse it a bit.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, as long as you keep the rule, the main rule is first one is definite, the second one is indefinite. And how do I make this indefinite? So it's got an alif lam. Just take the alif lam off. Alif lam is what's making it definite. Take the alif lam off, and the tanween can come back now. The reason the tanween wasn't there was because of the alif lam. So I take alif lam off, jadidu, but that's not right. Tanween needs to come back, becomes jadidun. Okay, and then that should be okay. Number 4 is ana tullabun. Ana tullabun. Now, what's the mistake with that one? Ana means I, and it refers to one. That could be for the masculine or it can be for the feminine. So the tullabun is plural though. Tullabun means 3 or more male students. So that doesn't agree. Ana is 1, but tullabun is 3 or more male students. So I could have, the correct answer is ana talibun. Talibun is 1 male student. I could have also said ana talibatun. That's for masculine and feminine. So a male could say, Asim could say ana talibun, and Farhat could also say ana. She could use ana for herself as well, even though she's a female. So in Arabic, the I is the same, like you have in English. You say I am a student, and I am a student. For females also say I am a student. So in Arabic it's the same. So the answer to that one, number 4, should have been ana talibun or ana talibatun. Either way you could have used, or you could have left tullabun there. You could have said hum tullabun. So you could have said they are male students. Hum tullabun. You could have left that as it was, and you could have changed the ana to the hum. Or you could have said antum tullabun. You could have said you are male students. You could have said nahnu tullabun, we are male students. So there's a few answers that could have There are a few possibilities with that one, depending on which part you changed. Number 5 is al-ma'u baridatun. A mistake with that one is al-ma'u is singular masculine, but baridatun is singular feminine. That doesn't agree. So I need to make that baridatun into masculine so it agrees with al-ma'u. So the answer is al-ma'u baridun. Okay. So I'm going to stop it there. So this lesson, I didn't want to cover any more new because I feel this is kind of a meaty lesson in the sense that there's a few concepts and getting your head across this may take a bit more time. So for that reason, I won't move any further. For next week, we will cover the rest. We will cover the rest of the homework and we will move forward to the first fragment. But before we break up, I'd like to test some people that I've not heard read the table to me just yet. Asim, you haven't read to me yet. So if you could unmute your mic, and what I'm going to ask you to do is to read out the table to me. Before you do that, I'm going to read it to you so you have an idea how it should be. And I've done that in the previous recordings. So the way we're going to go with this is we're going to do the detached pronoun first, and it's going to go like this. Huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, anta antuma antum, anti antuma antunna, ana nahnu. And then we move on to the attached pronoun, ignoring the brackets for now. Hu huma hum, ha huma hunna, ka huma kum, ki kuma kunna, I anna. So if you could start when you're ready. With the detached pronoun, please.
So it's huwa huma hum.
Yep.